Alright, take two. We had a little technical glitch the first time I tried to do this. I know the video ain't very good on this because it's almost fucking sunset, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. At least for like a part one. There'll probably be a part two of this video. Because why wouldn't you want a part two of a video talking about a fucking awesome Vikings game like that? That was awesome. Are you kidding me? You know, that was so fucking satisfying. Oh my god. The two guys who everybody in this town's fans, media, they're always talking about how we gotta get rid of these guys, and they are the ones who got this big win. And don't give me this, ooh, it's just Seattle, they're not what they once were. We'd never fucking beaten Russell Wilson, and now we've beaten him. So you can, you know, whoever's gonna try to tear this win down as not meaning something, you know, you can jump in a fucking lake, because this win does mean something historically for the Vikings and right now for the Vikings. And who the two guys who led the way? Kirk Cousins, Mike Zimmer, bra fucking foe on both counts today. Kirk, awesome game. He was really good in the first 2 weeks. He was better today. This was even better. This. I mean, he was basically, almost flawless. He did get a ball knocked from his hands one time, and there was like one or two throws that he maybe could have thrown it better. But oh my god, what a fucking game from Kirk! Amazing performance by the defense in the second half. Nobody thought. I thought it was going to be just a shootout game anyway going in, and when it's 17-7. No one in the world would have thought that was the end of the scoring on the day for the Seahawks, and that was like early second quarter, and they didn't score again. I don't know what the yardage was in the second half, but they didn't get it. They didn't do shit in the second half. Whatever the adjustments that Zimmer made, whatever he got figured out. I mean, look, we all want it to be. We'd love it to be fucking 2017 again, where the defense is the top team in the league, but it ain't gonna happen. But what they have done the last 2 weeks is really shut down really, really tough, dangerous quarterbacks in the second half. They haven't. I mean, they haven't given up an offensive touchdown in the last two games after halftime. Boy, this is really getting dark now. So there will be a part two. This is just kind of a rant, a happy rant. It's so much better to do a happy rant, for God's sakes. But yeah, that defense was amazing after halftime, and no one in the world would have thought that would have happened. I mean, when it was 17-7, and I think that the next drive was when we got the sack with the holding penalty that wiped it out. Like that the game could have gotten out of hand right there, but it didn't. And it was pretty much lights out from that point on until the game wasn't decided, but it was well in hand. I mean, I can't even I can't even like settle on talking points. I'm so fucking jazzed from that game. Like Kirk, amazing. The third down conversions, I don't know what that ended up being, but man, they were converting some big third downs. There were a lot of. I know at one point they were like 6 out of 8, but that was like maybe with like a quarter to go, and I know they hit a couple more after that. They hit a couple of real big plays right after negative plays. Like there was the holding penalty on Bradbury where they were down in the red zone, and then the very next play, Kirk just rifled the ball into Thielen for the touchdown. They at times they could, in past games, past seasons, that the bad plays might kind of pile up on each other. That didn't happen today. If they have a negative play, they come back and get a real big play. We didn't have Dalvin. That I believed he would play. I believed all week he would play. Zimmer sounded very, very confident earlier in the week that he would play. Madison really stepped up. I mean, he ran really well. Now, we see the difference with the two of them because Dalvin houses a couple of those those plays that Madison, didn't house and just got a good gain on. But great game for Madison. Abdullah got in there, got a couple. Jefferson had a big game. I called it. I don't know if I did it. I don't think I said it in video, but he broke out in week 3 last year. He kind of did again today. Did the gritty in front of the home fans. Thielen caught a touchdown and some big catches. KJ caught one. He caught one that was real big in the second half that kept the drive going. Conklin got a couple big plays. Everyone who was out there kind of did something. The offensive line did very well. Kirk, I think the only official sack for the game was the one where he got the ball knocked out of his hands, and then that goes down as a sack, but it wasn't really a sack. Like, the offensive line did another good job. They were good. They were good in pass protection. They were good at run blocking. And I'm sure people will say, "Oh, well, Seattle's defense isn't what it used to be." Okay, so what? You still got to make the plays. But yeah, fucking great job. Whole offense, like Zimmer said, it's the best offensive game since he's been a head coach. I mean, there might be something that's better, but that was up there. I mean, really good. Loved how they fucking, when it was, I hadn't even mentioned yet, someone missed a field goal against us. When does that ever happen? That's when I knew things that today was different, that miracles were possible, because their kicker missed like a 45-yard field goal. And of course he had hit like a 50-yarder before that, naturally, but yeah, when he missed that kick, I was like, okay, maybe when something like that happens, maybe the tide is turning a little bit. Yeah, they really controlled the game from that point on offense, because they went down, made it 17 to, what was it there? I forget. It was 17-7, so then they made it 17-14. And then they went and held the ball for the whole end of the first half, made it 21-17, held it for like 8.5 minutes to start the third quarter. That was the one they had the strip on Kirk. They didn't get a touchdown. I was really hoping they'd get the touchdown there, but they got the field goal, and then the defense got unleashed. So Griffin got a sack. Kendricks got a sack at one point. Wilson wasn't running around like Murray did last week. Not to that degree. They were trying for other things, but like they did a pretty good job of really containing Wilson. And first half they were really getting beat. They were getting beat a lot on, like, they were really over pursuing. Like, I don't even know how many yards Seattle must have had in the first half just on cutback runs by whoever had the ball. And they were leaving a lot of wide open guys. They were really struggling, but Zimmer got it figured out because he is a good fucking coach, which is what I keep trying to tell people who want him fired because he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Like, okay, he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he is a good coach. People say the game's passed him by. No, it hasn't, because he's just 2 weeks in a row now, gotten his defense out there, shutting down really, really fucking good quarterbacks in the second half. Yeah, the first half matters too, but I care more about what happens in the second half. If the Joseph kick goes through last week, everyone's talking about how, that defense really shut down Murray and gave him a chance. And this one today, the offense really, really carried the show, and they carried it for the defense too, because that time of possession, second half, was just unbelievable. I mean, it was like 20 minutes to 4 minutes at one point. I don't know what it ended up, but I mean, like, they the way they managed the game in the second half. I mean, people talk about, like, oh, they're, you just want to run the clock out, you don't want to do anything. Like, this is what it's about. They converted all those third downs. They ran it well. They didn't have dumb penalties. They had like a couple penalties in the game, but nothing that really killed them in any spot. And you keep Russell Wilson off the field as much as you can. You lessen his chances that he can do something. I mean, only thing I disagreed with was when they kicked the last field goal to make it 30-17. They're down on like the 5-yard line, or maybe even closer than that, and they kicked the field goal. Like even then I was like, God, there's still like 4 minutes left, and it's Russell Wilson. I was like, oh God, they're gonna lose 31-30, aren't they? Because they did this. But no, it never got close. I mean, they got up to like midfield or something, and then he chucked up a Hail Mary on 4th down basically, and that was it. It was incomplete, and that was it. They just ran out the rest of the clock for the most part. It's like just a great fucking game. I'm just so happy for Zimmer. I'm happy for Cousins. And this isn't like this. It's not like they're not gonna hang a banner because you got to win to go to 1-2. But you got to come back now next week and beat Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland's unbeaten, I think, but they have, or no, they didn't. They lost to the Chiefs, but they haven't looked that. They haven't looked unbeatable by any means. I think you can win that game too, and then you can really get on a run. Because I think this is a good team. They didn't let the fucking the way last week ended. They didn't let that carry over. Like, they were fired up. Fucking crowd was fired up. I haven't heard the fucking Purple Palace that loud. Only other time was probably the Saints playoff game. That's the only other time I've ever heard that building that loud. I think it absolutely helped the defense in the second half. I think it absolutely messed with Wilson. He'd never played there before. I mean, he's obviously played in loud stadiums, but he never played there before, and I think that did get to him. Boy, I am almost in complete darkness now. Well, that's because fall is coming and winter is coming, and it's going to be dark for like 18 hours a day soon. But well, I'll put a note on the video. So don't watch it, just listen to it, which is what I pretty much do on most things where it's like you don't need to watch it. I just listen. I just put it on and listen to it. But I am going to come back and do a second, a little more thorough video later, and just kind of, because this game deserves multiple videos. If I had to do 2 parts last week, I'll do 2 parts for this one. But we'll be back later tonight with another video when I'm still on a real high, because God damn, that was a satisfying football game. One of the more satisfying football games, I think, of the Zimmer era. And we'll see if it turns into a real season turner. I think it will. I hope it will. Because I think this team showed today, what they can really do. And hey, got another tough one next week. Got a tough schedule still, but we can do it. Let's go. Skol, Vikings!